Namaste. I've been receiving a lot of emails where people are asking about PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. And I wanted to share with you, because many of us aren't aware of this research, that they found that human beings react to trauma very differently than animals do. And there's this one book on trauma where they give the analogy that if, for instance, an antelope is running away from a lion, and a lion jumps on the antelope's back, the antelope will freeze, like all of us do whenever there's any real big trauma that happens. We automatically go into shock. We freeze. Now, the lion will drag the antelope, who feels immobilized in their shock, back to the lion's den to share the meat with the rest of the cubs, etc. And the moment he retracts his fangs from the antelope will suddenly leap to its feet, shake and tremble, and run off. Now, this ability to shake off trauma is believed to have been possible for, the cavemen and cave women, but we in modern world have lost that ability. And yet, what's happening to that antelope is exactly what's happening to us. What science has found, when you feel any strong emotion, and in that moment, if you shut it down, a quantifiable biochemistry is released into the bloodstream, goes to certain cell receptors and blocks them, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, it happens, of course, where the cells are blocked. And so that emotional issue that happened at the point of shutdown, the biochemistry is released and the programming is stored in the cells. Now, before that cell dies, it passes on its programming, its consciousness, it passes on the cell memory, the pain, onto the next cell generation. So the next cell generation are born as an exact replica of the previous cell generation, carrying on this programming. And the reason why they say it's so hard to, clear from this kind of trauma is that it's only recently that science has been finding out about the effects our emotions have on our cells. And thankfully, the journey was born from my own direct experience of healing from a basketball-sized tumor. But the method that was created out of that is that I found a means for all of us in a very practical way to go on a journey inside your body, to get access to these blocked cells and uncover the trauma there, the emotional issues stored there, the pain, the unmet emotions that you shut down a long time ago. And not only do you release all that pain, but you go through a process of understanding what happened to you at that time. And ultimately, you go through a process of forgiving, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells, cells that no longer carry that trauma from the past. Now, the truth of the matter is, all of us have experienced some kind of trauma, where we were injured as a kid, or we were running and playing with a sport and got some sort of injury. We could have been in an auto accident. There can be war trauma that happens. And the good news is that now you have the possibility to actually deal with this process in a very natural and very practical way. As a matter of fact, this process, the journey, is used in 3 medical hospitals in Israel, where if you, for instance, have multiple sclerosis or heart disease or cancer, and you go through all the medical treatment, then you go through a week worth of recovery, so that you can get to the cell memories that have been part of what co-created the illness in the first place. And so even though it's used right alongside medicine, it is work that can be done. You can go to a seminar and really learn how to do this work online, or you can get the book, which we give as a free download from our website, thejourney.com. And it's really an invitation to all of us to clear whatever's blocking us or holding us back or limiting us in any ways, so that we can start living from the natural peace, the joy, the freedom that is our own self. So give it a shot. All of us had some sort of trauma. This is your invitation to dive in and free yourself up. Namaste.